What's up, Butch Boy? Guy named Ty reporting live from the MITM podcast. And today, I wanted to talk to y'all about my 6 pillars to turn mountains into molehills, or 6 pillars of success. Run the intro.
Caught up in them bright lights, dust of shiny things that's golden. Everything ain't always what it seems, let it soak in. Chasing my dreams, coming apart at my seams. Best believe that the money is the motive.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the MITM podcast. And today I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about the 6 pillars to success. Now, back when I was 15 years old, 14, 15, I met my mentor, Paul, right? And what Paul did, Paul was my grandmother's advisor, investor. She was working with him for over 30 years, and I was sharing with my grandmother how badly I wanted to be a millionaire, and I had no idea what to do, where to start, or what direction I should go in. She's like, you know what? You need to sit down with Paul and have a conversation with him. So I book my meeting. I sit down with him. I start talking with him, and we go through all these different things. He sets me up on my very first investment plan. It was a simple mutual fund. I was doing like $20 every month, $25 a month. But the thing that really changed my life that he did is he told me, hey, I'm giving you access to my Audible account, right? And this is back when Audible, you can download stuff from Audible directly and not have to just like save it through an app. So he gave me access to his Audible account, and he said, you have 24 hours to get as many books as you can. And I want you to start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I want you to start with Think and Grow Rich. I want you to start with As a Man Thinketh. I want you to start with The Richest Man in Babylon. And those are my main 4 books that started my financial, my wellness, my mindset journey. But there were a ton of other books in there that I just devoured. I absolutely devoured. And by reading all of these books, I started to see a pattern. I started to see that there were 6 pillars that they would continuously talk about in all these different books to find success in life. And so what I did for myself is I made myself a workbook. I said, I'm going to gather all this information from all these different books so I don't have to keep going back to all these books. I'm going to put it in one place so it's simple and easy for me to then actually apply to my life and make tangible, meaningful change, right? So I'm going to share that framework that I created with y'all's, and maybe as I read through this, maybe memories will come back up to kind of explain why I did certain things, but this is pretty much it. So the 6 pillars to success. By gaining mastery and balance of these 6 areas of your life, you're bound to be successful, okay? So when you're going through the 6-pillar framework, the very first thing you want to do is to really think about your life mission, okay? They say with mission comes provision, okay? Or with vision comes provision, right? And we want to be on a mission and finding out what our big why is. Think of what you want out of life and think of why you want it, okay? Because sometimes people just say, oh, I want this, I want that, but they don't have a big enough why behind the reason why they want to do that thing. And then when life throws curveballs at you, when life throws all sorts of bullshit your way, it'll be so much easier for you to drop it, So the very first thing that we say is, my mission is to, right? And you just say what your mission is. And you say, I will sacrifice whatever it may be to attain your mission. Now, I actually made a huge mistake when I was younger. Huge mistake. And I wish I had caught this sooner. And maybe I should have talked to a mentor about this. But the first thing that I said, I remember I had a red book with all my goals in it. And every single day I wrote my goals over and over every single day. And I said, my mission is to make $1 million by 30. I want 3,000 rental units. I want to have 4 merchandise companies. I want to have, I had a laundry list of all the things that are part of my mission, but the actual mission was I wanted to make impactful change in the lives around me. I wanted to be able to help more people that are coming from my situation of living in the lowest income neighborhoods in the city, being absolutely desolate when it comes to finances or having choice. Instead of having Nikes with Michael Jordan on it, I had these off-brand, not even Shaq shoes with someone dunking on it. I want to help people that were in that type of situation not be there. So what I said is my mission is to do all of these things, go back and help folks. But the problem was, I said I'm going to sacrifice time. I said I'm going to sacrifice the next 12 years of my life and focus. Ooh. I wish that someone told me the biggest mistake of choosing that of all things to sacrifice. Because by sacrificing time, well, you don't get that back. And for all I know, I could have died at any moment and not reached the goal. So one of the things that I would suggest is don't sacrifice time. Think about something else. Like I decided I'm going to start sacrificing money and leveraging money to get to my goals. And when I made that shift, I made a lot more money real quick. So that's the first thing. And now when we look at the 6 pillars, we have self, we have fitness, we have family, we have finance, we have fun, and we have education. Okay? Those are the 6 pillars. And when you balance those in a meaningful way and find a way to integrate those with each other, you're bound to be successful. So take a moment to consider what will take up most of your time. Okay? The what's that will take up most of your time. So what are your hobbies? What will your career be? And how will you create wealth? Okay. Now, we start with the self. Because when we start with the self, everything else comes after, making sure that you're taken care of and that you're in a good headspace. So, what do you want to do for yourself? And I encourage you to be selfish and think huge, think big, think of those big, hairy, audacious goals. You know, what do you want? Be selfish. What do you want? And the way that we go through this is we look at these 3 things. And this is actually from Tim Ferriss. Not only Tim Ferriss, but also Grant Cardone. They both say this, which I really appreciate it. They say, what do you want to have? Okay. Well, actually, you know what? What do you want to have? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Okay. And you want to think of those things for yourself. So when you say have, you say, what exactly do you want? And be specific with what it is that you want. Okay. You want to say, how will you get it? You think about how are you actually going to go and attain that thing? How are you going to make it a reality? And then when do you want it? Okay. Give yourself a deadline. And imagine every single goal you write down. I want to have, I don't know why this came to mind, but I want to have a PlayStation 5. I don't play video games anymore, but I want to have a PlayStation 5. How will I get it? Well, I'm going to go and work and I'm going to save, or I'm going to invest in something so that my investments make me money so that I can go and then say, I'm going to gift myself this PlayStation 5. When do I want it? I want it by the end of the year. So now I have to figure out how much money do I need to put into that investment to then get a certain return to say, okay, my investment bought that, right? Boom. Now I figured out how to have what I want. What do you want to do? And when you say, what do you want to do? Think about experiences. I want to go skydiving. Okay. Or I want to do a marathon. You know? How will you do it? What are the ways that you're going to go to attain to make sure that can happen? I'm going to start studying up on skydiving. I'm going to start running every day just a little bit further, practicing. I'm going to watch some videos online, see how I can be better at preparing for marathons. And once again, when do you want it done? Set a deadline for this, for the thing that you want to do. I actually remember one of my ones in the during the pandemic, one of the things that I wanted to do was to go on more adventures. And I know that was a little vague, but the specific adventures I wanted during the pandemic was I wanted to go and explore more hikes and explore more beautiful places around my city, and not just in my city, out of my city. So around the GTA area, and even out, like going out to like Hamilton or go further up north or like wherever. I'm like, how will I do it? Well, I'm just going to plan it. I'm going to go drive there, take my puppy, go and have an adventure. When I want it done. Well, I want it done by, well, a certain date. I want to make sure I do all that stuff before summer's over. Okay, what do I want to be? Ooh, what kind of person do you want to be? A lot of people don't take time to think about what kind of person that they want to be and become. How will you become it? Right? And when do you want to be it? I know one of the things, like, I was raised by my mom, so I wasn't really taught how to be a gentleman. I mean, I was taught how to respect women, but I wasn't taught how to be a gentleman. And so one of the things I said I wanted to be was be more of a gentleman. So I started studying things online. I said, how will I become it? Well, I'm going to go ahead and read these books. I don't know why this website is eluding me right now, but it's like The Gentleman's Guide or something online. If I know I'm going to find it, but I'll add it to the show notes. But I started like following these blogs and reading these different things and learning about what it means to be a gentleman so that I can become it. I said, when do I want to be it? I said, as soon as possible. I'm continuously learning every day about what that means and what that looks like, because that's something I want to have ingrained in my being, right? Another thing that I was doing, like when I was looking at education, okay, the way that I approached it was I said formal, okay? I said formal and personal. Formal, at this point, I said I'm going to school mainly for networking. I want to build my mental capacity. I want to gain reputability through certification and practice. Okay, this was my mission for my education when I was making the 6 pillars. Now it's definitely shifted, and I actually attained these goals, which is pretty dope. But personal, I said I wanted to study one culture per year and travel there, and I'll read 12 books per year. Study and limit passive time watching entertainment. Okay. Now, I definitely achieved one of these 2 goals. I did not end up traveling, but that is absolutely okay. We've been building some amazing things over here. But I've read so many more than 12 books. I thought that was a huge goal at the time, you know. Fitness. Okay. I wanted to set up my fitness pillars. And for me, I said, I will set fitness goals for myself, document and complete them. I want to maintain an optimal level of health. I want to do more fitness challenges. We did that with Release the Beast Fitness. Release the Beast Fitness was the documentation. And in fact, not only did I document it, I was able to share it with you guys in a tangible way, to share the experiences, the ups and downs, like that time that I talked about what happens when you have a fitness fall off. Everything's going so well and you fall off the wagon and you gain your freshman 15, but you're supposed to be the fitness guy helping other people. We documented all that and we actually turned it into a product, which was really cool. Okay, and these are things that I wrote back when I was 15. So here we are almost 15 years later reviewing. I talked about finance, and you know what's actually so crazy? Finances was one of my biggest pillars. And it was really just because of the place that I came from, coming from a neighborhood where no one understood money, or at least some people understood certain aspects of money, but it wasn't above board, if you know what I'm saying. So for finances for myself, I said, I will learn how to budget. Because at that time, oh my gosh, budgeting was the hardest thing. I said, I will incorporate having fun with money strategically so that it can benefit one goal I'm currently aiming to achieve. This is why I started running comedy shows and music shows and these different events. This is why I started designing clothes, because I'm having fun, but I'm making money while I'm having fun, you know? I said I'll follow the 5%, 10%, 20%, 65% template of investments, but will be flexible with it in the following categories. So I made myself something very simple, and it's so funny when I look back at it and how little money I had at the time. But I said for income, when I look at 100% of my income, I'm going to break it down like this. So for my leisure, 5% of my leisure, I can spend however I want. 5% of my money is leisure money, which now we call it the Living Wealthy account. And I gotta say, shout out to Garrett Gunderson for that, the name idea, Living Wealthy account. Because I want to live rich now, baby. But when I was younger, I was just like, leisure. And I had set aside $125 a month just to enjoy life, you know? Then I had my emergency fund, which I was putting 10% into every month minimum, just to ensure that I can be set. But what I do with emergency fund was more so set it up as an investment account that I have easy access to, you know? Then I have my actual investments, which was at 20%. And I was only able to live off of the 65 left. Okay? When it came to family, one of the things I said is I wanted to incorporate my family within my time strategically so that I complete goals while building family bonds. And with family, when I run my comedy shows or my game nights and all these things, I bring my family out, and I bring my younger siblings into it. If it is that I'm working on a new play or some sort of event, I brought my sisters to do plays with me, which then we're bonding and learning a skill together and then getting ready to put on a show. Now, they were really young at the time. In fact, they were the youngest folks ever accepted into this program, which is kind of crazy. And they were very, very much getting stage fright. So they didn't end up going on stage with me, but we spent weeks learning to sing together, to dance together, to act together, which was so amazing. And one of my sisters to this day still enjoys acting and doing these other things. And we made a bond, and we are able to connect on that, right? So finding ways to still reach your goals and bring your family into your goals so that even if you live a busy life like I do, you have intention. And the last one, for fun, which it's kind of funny when I look back at what I said for fun, which I probably need to incorporate this. It's one very simple line, and this will tell you guys how much of a workaholic I am and how it's been years that I've been this way. But for fun, it's so ridiculous. I said I will not study and work on my weekends. It's so ridiculous. Could you imagine that's what I put for fun? I didn't even say what I was gonna do for fun. And that's a pillar that I needed to, flesh out and develop more. Now for fun, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to comedy shows. I'm gonna go play some pool with the boys. I'm gonna go on some adventures. I need to go on vacation. Now fun is a lot more fleshed out. Although with everything else that I listed here, I find them absolutely fun. So that's why it didn't need to be as intense, For me, working on myself, going to meditation retreats, designing clothes, making music, investing, all those things are fun. Which is why I think that pillar is pretty much set with just the lifestyle that I've built. But that's pretty much it for today's episode of the MITM podcast. I hope you guys got a lot of value from these 6 pillars of success framework. And I'm actually going to share with you guys for free the 6 pillars of success workbook. And I'll give you guys access to the early ebook that I'm going to put out. We go way more in depth with all of these ideas. And I really hope that it's able to help you in a meaningful way find balance in these 6 areas of your life. So with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing start to your day. Hope you guys are feeling powerful. And that maybe today you just think about what your 6 pillars would look like and what you want to have, do, and be in each of these areas. So with all that being said, I will talk to you later. Peace.
Give them that creme de la creme whenever I